All right, everyone. Well, welcome to JDC West 2021 Human Resources Case Presentation sponsored by Raymond James. I want to give a big thank you to our judges for being here with us today. Maurice Pellerin, Senior Manager, Human Resources at Raymond James. Richard Hansen, Human Resources Manager at Canada Revenue Agency. Satvir Jatana, Vice President, Employee and Community Engagement at Manitoba Public Insurance. Andrea Linger, Manager, Practice Management at Raymond James, and Radhi Desai, Human Resources Specialist at Raymond James. Competitors will have a maximum of 20 minutes to present. Immediately following the presentation, judges will have a total of 5 minutes to ask the presenters questions. I am our academic moderator. I'll be timekeeping and controlling the overall flow of the presentation format. The time intervals will be noted in the Zoom chat beginning at the 10-minute mark. Following the presentation, I will facilitate the question and answer period. Judges will indicate their intent to ask a question using the hand raise function, and I will then call on them to indicate the next question. No questions or comments will be permitted from the audience at any time. The audience is also prohibited from communicating to the presenters in any forum, including Zoom or via other mediums during the presentation or question period. If you are an observer, please ensure your camera is off and microphone is muted. Once the presentation and question period has completed, we will all exit the Zoom meeting call. Competitors, you are now free to begin your presentation.
COVID-19 has taken the world by storm, and while it has also affected other organizations, it's affected citywide security as well. You still remain a beacon of light despite these circumstances for other organizations to rely on. Good morning. My name is Wayne, and along with my teammates, Ashley and Penny, we at Anchor Consulting are so excited to present our strategy to make sure that you continue to be that pillar, that beacon of light that the world needs from citywide security.
Today, we were tasked with the objective of recruiting and retaining both a qualified workforce in order to fulfill your organization's staffing requirements. We identified the primary issue of inefficient internal operations, which is leading to unsatisfied clients. Through our How to Score, Grow for More, and Retain the Core strategy, we will help to balance the needs of both your clients as well as your employees through extensive hiring and training processes and ensure the long-term sustainability of citywide services.
Having outlined the objective posed to us today, let's first dive into the current state of the industry as well as your organization. Now, currently, we have measured your competitors across two axes, high market share as well as high employee development. And what we saw is that international firms that are established within Manitoba have a high market share and they focus while also balancing the needs of their employee development. Whereas startups have a lower market share and they are similar with you in terms of their employee development. Now, what we see is in order to effectively compete with organizations that are established within this market, you need to build on your strengths of having a diverse workforce, the overall benefits that you have for your employees, as well as focusing on your client needs. As well as we found that you currently have a consistent profit year over year, and this is something that you can continue to work on as we go into 2021. Now, having outlined this current state of the organization as well as the industry, let's dive deeper into the first key issue, which is the lack of recruitment strategy. What we saw here was through the employee lifecycle, which looks at the overall journey of an employee throughout before even applying to an organization all the way towards offboarding, is that you are currently within the first stage, which is recruitment. Here, you need to generate awareness as well as compile applications so that you can meet your staffing requirements, especially with COVID-19. So currently, there's a lack of awareness which is resulting in low applications, as well as there's insufficient applications, which is leading to these unfilled positions within your organization, which, as Wayne mentioned, you are the beacon of light for these organizations to rely on. So there's a need to ensure long-term sustainability of your organization to be able to meet these demands. Now, what we can see is that without meeting these client needs in the short term, you will see a loss of revenue month over month. And the key takeaway here is that there is a need for short-term recruitment strategy to ensure citywide security has the sufficient human capital to meet your client needs. The second key issue that we analyzed was inadequate training program. And here we conducted a gap analysis where we looked at your current state as well as the future state. Currently, there is no training program in place, and this does not set up your inexperienced employees for success within the organization. In terms of the future state, you are looking to implement an in-depth online modules, which will support the growth of your employees within the organization. However, the gap that we see is how can you support your employees during this transition period? You currently have 82% of your employee base being unskilled workers. So what can you do to ensure that they are set up for success within your organization that will not only help them in the short term, but also ensure long-term sustainability of your organization? And what we see here is that without this gap being filled effectively, you will see increased client dissatisfaction with employees that will negatively affect your employer branding, but also your reputation within the market. So the key takeaway here is that there's a need to leverage your experienced workers to train your less experienced workers and provide a clear succession planning within the organization. And the last key issue that we analyzed was low job satisfaction. And here we gained insights from Gallup studies. And what they found is that on average, 17% of an organization's workforce is actively disengaged. And this costs an organization 34% of an employee's wage. So what does a disengaged employee look like within your organization? So characteristics of these individuals can include increased absenteeism, tardiness, as well as low productivity. And what we saw, the sole root cause of this disengagement is that there is insufficient scheduling for your employees, so they do not feel well supported within your organization. Now here, we can see that you have 120 employees within your organization. 17% of these are disengaged, which equals to about 20 employees. Now, overall, you can see an increased cost of approximately $150,000 if these individuals are not being actively engaged moving forward. So the overall impact here is that with COVID-19, you can actually see an increased turnover in your employees if they're not being engaged on a week-by-week basis, and this can increase your overall costs as an organization. So the key takeaway here is that you need to improve your employee experience through effective shift scheduling and supporting them throughout this life cycle.
Now that we've determined the key takeaways in the analysis, I'd like to dive deeper into the alternatives, in which we asked ourselves the question, how should citywide security improve scheduling of last-minute shifts? In determining this question, we had three main decision criteria. The first, whether it increases employee buy-in, whether it lets them makes them want to take on these last-minute shifts. Second, long-term sustainability. Is this going to be sustainable not only in the short term, but the long term? And thirdly, whether or not it improves your employer brand. Now, here are the alternatives that we considered, and here are the advantages and disadvantages of each alternative when evaluated to the decision-making criteria. Now, the reason we recommend that you do not stop accepting last-minute shifts is because it's going to disrupt your client relations, and it's going to appear that you're less reliable from a client's perspective. The reason we do not recommend that you provide incentives for last-minute shifts is because this is not sustainable in the long term, and it's going to make your employees want to take that incentive rather than take the shift. And that's exactly why we recommend you increase the predictability for your last-minute shifts. This is going to increase your employee buy-in and going to be sustainable within the long term.
We identified 3 immediate next steps that citywide security should implement over the next 72 hours. Firstly, hiring the external recruitment agency. This requires you to prepare your job description for your security guards and begin the hiring for additional roles. You want to establish touch points with the hiring agency to ensure this is in line with your organization's objectives. Second, developing an action plan. So determining your overall objectives as an organization, as well as assigning roles to your employees. We also recommend you hire the additional operations coordinator in this step as well. Thirdly, addressing your clients. So providing your clients with the action plan that you have now developed, establishing touch points to increase communication, as well as establishing your client relations.
We are so delighted to present our strategy, beginning with how to score. Now, the key takeaway we derived from the analysis was there was a need for short-term recruitment strategy to ensure citywide security has sufficient human capital to meet your client needs. Now, here we've outlined a recruitment strategy for you. we've separated your recruitment strategy into two main target markets. First, targeting experienced guards. Second, targeting inexperienced guards. Now, the three methods we want to use to target experienced guards are recruitment agency, police academy, and referrals. Now, your recruitment agency that you've had your eye on has already let you know that they can source 20 clients, 20 employees, pardon me. And so that's exactly why we recommend you continue to move forward with them, because you need security guards in the short term, and this is the best way to do it. We also recommend you continue to reach out to police academies, because these are strong candidates that are going to be able to meet your client needs. And so we recommend you reach out to them through virtual information sessions as well as virtual job fairs. And lastly, we also recommend you implement a referral bonus, because good security guards know good security guards. And that's why we recommend you have a $300 referral bonus for a successful hire, which means that an employee will last at your organization for 3 months. That's what we constitute a successful hire as. Now, in terms of targeting inexperienced guards, there's two main ways. We recommend you recruit them through recruitment sites as well as social media outreach. The main message we want to portray through these platforms is that you have a great amount of diversity within your organization, and that you're going to be able to cover their training fee, and that this is going to be a great opportunity for them to learn and develop a career with you. Also, we recommend that you hire your operations coordinator to maintain and to implement these recruitment strategies, as well as develop a long-term in-house recruitment strategy, as these are going to be, as we've already outlined, your short-term recruitment strategy. So this is going to be this operations coordinator is going to work on your long-term recruitment strategies.
In order to implement our how to score recommendation, firstly through the recruitment agency, you want to determine your hiring objectives as well as hire the recruitment agency themselves. You want to review the hiring objectives with the agency to make sure that the communication is aligned with your organization, as well as check in with the agency periodically to ensure that qualified candidates are flowing through your organization. From there, you'll want to train these qualified candidates into your organization as they seek these shifts. Recruitment sites, the operations coordinator will be responsible for reviewing and posting this opportunity to job boards and job sites, as well as collecting and reviewing applications through a screening process. Through the referral program, you want to determine the hiring objectives as well as post this opportunity to your employees so they're aware of this program as well as the benefits to them. You want to announce this program as well as screen any referrals that are coming through, followed by paying out of these referral bonuses. The key performance indicator of this recommendation is the hiring of 20 additional guards through the recruitment agency that fulfill these role requirements by the end of February 2021.
Moving.
The impact of this recommendation is that there will be a sustainable flow of qualified candidates who are able to meet the needs of your clients.
Moving on to our second recommendation, which is growing for more. Now, the key takeaway we derived from the analysis was there was a need to leverage experienced workers to train your less experienced workers and provide a clear succession plan. Now, there's an opportunity to leverage your experienced security guards. And so what we recommend you do is have a 1-to-3 ratio of experienced security guards to inexperienced security guards, so that the experienced security guard can train and guide these inexperienced security guards. Now, how we recommend you do this is you survey a target group of experienced security guards to determine learning objectives that they believe they should be teaching and guiding for the inexperienced security guards. This is not only going to improve your client experience, but it's also going to reduce the monotony of the shifts, because the inexperienced security guards are going to be able to learn and develop their skills alongside an experienced security guard. Now, what do we look for in an experienced security guard mentor? Well, the ideal qualities are going to be someone who's empathetic and is looking towards a career for policing or security guarding. Now, this is going to be an amazing opportunity for succession planning, because as you give more responsibility to these security guards, they're going to want to continue to grow within your organization. But not only that, they have an opportunity to show these inexperienced security guards the roles that they're allowed to grow in within your organization. And this is going to increase your employee retention. Now, here we have a case study from Chipotle. And while this is not in your industry, it represents a clear value of why succession planning is important, because when they implemented a clear succession plan, they reduced employee turnover by 64%. And we think that you can achieve similar results with this model.
Through our Grow for More recommendation, this will happen in 2 phases. Firstly, through the first phase of training the trainer, which will be led by your HR department. Firstly, you want to determine the qualifications for the trainer role. As Wayne highlighted, you want to encourage your top talent and your experienced employees to pursue this role within your organization. From there, you'll want to determine program objectives and actually recruit for these trainer positions. An important milestone of this is also educating the trainer on how to deliver the programming to ensure that your inexperienced employees are now being trained by your most experienced employees. The second phase of this recommendation is the rollout of the Train the Trainer program itself. Firstly, through scheduling the trainers for these shifts to allow for 1 experienced trainer to train 3 inexperienced employees, launching the programming across your 10 work sites, as well as collecting and analyzing employee feedback at various stages through this implementation. A key performance indicator of this recommendation is successfully training 10 experienced security guards to perform trainings across your 10 work sites. The impact of this is to increase your job satisfaction across your organization, increasing the tenure of your employees and improving client relations.
Moving on to our last recommendation, which is retaining the core. Now, the key takeaway we derived from the analysis was there was a need to improve your employee experience through effective shift scheduling and support. Now, this is exactly why we are so excited to recommend you implement a scheduling system for your employees. Now, we recognize that this may be expensive. However, this is going to guide you into the future and ensure that this is a sustainable method that will retain your employees. Now, in this scheduling system, this is going to be perfect for your employees because this is where they're going to be allowed to place whether or not they're available for on-call shifts. This is going to increase the predictability for your employees and make sure that they do not get unexpected calls and unexpected shifts, which, as we've seen in the analysis, increases turnover within your organization. Now, to make sure there's not an overload of specific shifts having on-call employees, we recommend that you have a maximum of 3 on-call employees for any given time, which employees can sign up for. Now, we recognize with any new systems, we have to implement a change management. So this is ProC's 3-step change management model of preparing, managing, and reinforcing change. Now, in preparing for change, we recommend that you really enforce this vision where your employees will have increased predictability, autonomy, and work-life balance. This is also going to stress the importance of work-life balance because you're going to show them that you do have mental health resources available for them, and this is a key thing that you wanted to implement within your organization. In managing the change, we recommend that you have training sessions for this scheduling system, as well as pulse checks to make sure your employees understand what's going on. We also recommend you leverage change champions who may be more technologically experienced so that employees can go to them to ask any questions regarding the new changes. And lastly, reinforcing the change, sending out the benefits that this system has brought to your organization to improve employee morale and make sure that you have that employee buy-in.
To retain the core through our recommendation, firstly, through implementation of the scheduling system. We understand this is quite a cost to undergo for your organization, but through Bamboo HR Essentials license, this will help your organization to grow as well as pursue additional licensing in the future that will help with payroll as well as other administrative tasks. We also recommend obtaining Humanity add-on, which will allow for scheduling within your organization as well as demand planning. You will want to undergo various system testing throughout your organization to make sure that the Bamboo HR is sustainable within your organization and meeting the demands as well. From there, you can then launch the scheduling system and train employees on how to actually use it. From there, you'll want to collect and analyze feedback from your employees and tinker with any of the functionality of the system as well. From there, with the on-call scheduling, this would be used through Humanity add-on. You want to train on the system usage itself, as well as monitoring the system use, making sure that it's actually beneficial to your organization. This will allow your organization to fill any last-minute shifts that your clients may bring forward by sourcing your employees' availability, as well as notifying applicable employees of shift coverage opportunities. From there, you'll want to collect and analyze any feedback from both employees and clients on how the new scheduling service has worked out. The key performance indicator of this recommendation is filling of the last minute shifts within 6 hours of their start time through this new scheduling system. The impact of this recommendation will improve your employees' overall experience and predictability and continue to deliver reliable results to your clients. We also identified several costs associated with our recommendation that I will now take us through. Firstly, for how to score through the recruitment agency, as well as referral bonuses and the salary of the new operations coordinator. Grow for more through the trainer wages, which would be a $2 salary increase for the additional hours as a trainer, as well as through our retain the core strategy through implementation of the scheduling software, as well as its add-ons. This recommendation will cost approximately $160,000 and increase citywide securities staffing to meet clients' expectations.
Now, having outlined our recommendation as well as our implementation, our team has identified the following risks, and I will outline the most important one, with the first one being the risk being you are unable to fill your last minute shifts. The mitigation here is that your operations coordinator can be leveraged, as this will be a part of their job description, where they will call available on-call staff using the on-call availability within the Bamboo HR system itself. Secondly, the second risk is inexperienced staff do not have training qualifications. And this is where you can subsidize the cost to obtain the security guard license to ensure sustainability within your organization. With our how to score, grow for more, and retain the core strategy, you will be able to meet your staffing needs while ensuring the training of your employees, allowing you to balance the various needs of both your employees as well as your clients to ensure long-term sustainability of citywide security, not only during this unprecedented times, but also being that beacon of light for the future. Thank you, and now we open the floor to any questions.
Thank you, competitors. I now encourage judges to begin raising their hands for questions. Beginning with Richard.
Thank you all for your presentation. That was great. Quick question, if you can go back to your timelines on your retain the core. If I'm looking at that correctly, I see that you're adding the on-call function in Q4. Is that correct? But it was identified as a top risk in your risks and mitigations. Can you explain that? Or maybe I'm missing something?
Of course. So for the first 2 quarters, this would be the acquisition of the licensing of Bamboo HR as well as the Humanity add-on. Through Q3, this is where you'll be piloting throughout your organization to ensure it's meeting your organization's requirements. And Q4 is when the program would actually be launched to your entire organization for rollout.
Okay, thank you.
The next question will come from Radhi.
Hello, thank you for the presentation. So I just noticed your cost model, and it shows that you're advising us to incur a cost of $160,600. So I was wondering, do you have any projections for the profit or any revenue that may incur in 2021? Because if we put our 2020 profit of $344,603 as a yardstick, this number comprises of 46% of that profit. So how are we supposed to sell this to our board, by saying that, like our profit is going to decrease, and we're going to incur all this cost. So
through the implementation of our strategy, and the ability to meet your client needs, as well as those 3 clients that are currently on the verge of rescinding their contracts with you, we can actually see a 20% increase in your revenues within 2021.
I'll now call on Satvir.
Great presentation and great solutions that you provided. One of the questions I had, have you considered technology in any of your solutions recommended to us in the long term?
Yes, so the scheduling system that we've recommended is the technology aspect of our recommendation that's going to help you in the long term. And this is going to help make sure that your employees feel more supported and that they're more aware of when they're going to be on call. And this is going to increase your employee retention and allow you to continue to grow in the long term.
The next question will come from Andrea.
Hi, thank you so much for the presentation. One of the key things identified in our industry is that we are underpaying our security guards compared to our competitors. Did you have any consideration as far as how we can handle that?
This was absolutely a consideration of ours, but the way our strategy has approached this is through intrinsic motivation, making sure that your candidates are aware that you have a great training program where they're going to be able to train under experienced security guards, and that you're also going to be able to provide them with succession planning and growth within your organization, which is going to motivate them to continue to be within your organization.
Judges, are there any further questions?
I'll jump in with one quickly. Sorry, I didn't put my hand up again, but just to get in there quickly. Any thoughts in terms of the addressing of the immediate performance issues or complaints and how you'd resolve those sort of in the very short term?
We believe that by leveraging your experienced employees throughout your organization through the Train the Trainer program will help to address this in the short term.
If there are no further questions, we can wrap up the question and answer period. Thank you very much, competitors, and I'll now ask that you leave the Zoom call.
If I could just speak for one moment, I understand that we're the last presentation of the day. I just wanted to thank you.
There is one more, but that's okay.
Okay. I just wanted to thank you on behalf of all the HR delegates for taking time out of your Sunday when you could otherwise be spending it with your loved ones and helping us become the next generation of industry leaders.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll ask you now to exit.